Howdy.
Hey, Katie, how you doing?
I'm good. And what I was thinking was earlier we had talked briefly about competition, and I thought I'd love to hear your thoughts on um, the different role that competition has played in your life, and then just different experiences with how other people maybe have perceived that aspect to drive.
Right. Yeah, that is it's a topic that fascinates me. And there's some gender biases around it. I mean, being a woman in the financial industry, I mean, first of all, it's so competitive. And being a female in the financial industry, when I say competitive, it means that a lot of people are, in my view, are striving to be the best they can be. Um, it's interesting though. I think sometimes women in particular are intimidated by competition and the word competition and to be competitive. I view it meaning you're trying to be the best you can be. I think sometimes people get caught up in a zero-sum game and they think in order for you to win, someone has to lose.
Yeah.
And I don't subscribe to that. What do you think about that? What do you think in particular? Because there's other words too that will generate the same level of energy. When I think of a word like feminist, people would, if someone say you're a feminist, I think, well, yeah, pro-female, that's a good word. But sometimes people will use that meaning you're anti-male when that's not the case, in my view. Why do you think that is, Katie?
Yeah, I mean, I think to your point earlier about if you're being competitive, that it means it's a zero-sum game and that nobody else has space to be successful if you're going to eat up all that oxygen. And that's not how I think of it either. I mean, I think that for myself and other really passionate women, there is a strong sense of drive and wanting to perform at your highest level, whether that's in sports, professionally, as a parent, as a philanthropist, as a community member. There's so many ways to show up as your best. And this conversation is just reminding me of a conversation I had with a girlfriend when I was running a lot, and which I'm doing more yoga now, but she reflected to me, oh yeah, but you would be interested in that because you're very competitive. And it seemed like a I don't know, underhanded compliment. And it's just been, and I even in myself had this moment of like, well, I don't want to be seen as competitive because I think it can have that connection, and especially for women, as not being collaborative or not being community oriented, like being completely for self. And that's not how I see it. I mean, I encourage my kids all the time to show up in the different things they do in life and do their best. And that's all I have done throughout my life as well. And if that's being competitive, I think it's a positive thing.
Right. Well, and you bring up a point that, yeah, I mean, the word competitive, I think some people will use it because they mean it as in a way a put down, not a compliment. I mean, I think it's a word that is positive, but I'm also in the arena and compete, and I do compete. We compete for clients. We try to do the best we can to take care of their needs, and to be competitive means that you're in the game. Not everyone wants to be in the game, and I think historically, women, girls in particular, have many times marginalized themselves in order to stay small, so they're not threatening. Think of think of the math and science. How many females don't pursue that because it's more stereotypically males, or how many people end up relationships and dumb it down. They don't show how smart they are because they don't want to be threatening to their partner. So I think it goes way back. I know certainly my mother, when she uses the word competitive, I know she doesn't have the same definition I have of needing to strive. It's more like, okay, you're gonna take that, so it's gonna take it away from me, more of that zero-sum game.
Right.
So how do we change the narrative? So your girls are young, 4 and 6. How do you help them find balance and empowered in the process?
I mean, yeah, I think, this is such a valuable discussion. And so I think we need to model in the home and how we show up in community in different ways. So, I mean, for my kids, understanding the nature of the work that I do, and if they're interested in going the math direction, that they can, and then having a parent, a father who is talking with them about architecture and engineering. And so I think just broad exposure without limitless exposure, to have your kids show you who they are and what they're gravitating towards. And I think the more that we can do that with the next generation and in support of one another as women, the better. And one thing I did want to say is that I think that sometimes if you're seen as competitive, it can be tied to comparing yourself to others. And I think it's really important that your own sense of drive and passion be doing your best on any given day in any given moment, and not in relationship to comparison, because I think that's where things can get problematic.
Right. Well, I do feel blessed that I've had the opportunity to play in the game, because my mother and grandmother did not have the same opportunities that I have had. And I believe my daughter and your daughters are going to have more opportunities to play in this game. And I think it's important for us to have this conversation and just destigmatize it, and realize that passion and wanting to grow and be the best you can be doesn't have a limit value. And if that's what I would want for our kids in our future, is to solve problems and get better, not to be marginalized and stay small. I don't think there's any value in hiding and being, choosing to be marginalized. I think we all have unique abilities, and the more we can share and talk about, sometimes this isn't a comfortable topic for a lot of people to talk about. So I'm so glad you are willing to come on here and have this candid thought exchange with me. So thanks, Katie.
My pleasure.